Nighttime Scary Stories, Chapter 3, The Lost Child. Once, in the land of Laos, there lived a young girl named Hli. She was about 10 years old. Her parents often took her to their garden, which was surrounded by a dense jungle. One day, while her parents were far away in the rice fields, Hli fell asleep in the small hut her father had built. A witch, who people in Laos called a ghost or monster, noticed Hli sleeping all by herself. The witch had always wanted a daughter, so she decided to take Hli away. The witch carried Hli deep into the jungle, far from the garden. When Hli woke up, she couldn't remember her parents. The witch had cast a spell that made Hli believe the witch was her mother. Wherever the witch went, Hli followed. The witch and Hli lived deep in the jungle near rivers. The witch taught Hli how to catch frogs, worms, insects, and other small creatures, which they ate raw. But this food made Hli sick. After a year of living with the witch, Hli told her that she couldn't eat the raw food anymore, or she might die. The witch loved Hli and didn't want to lose her. So the witch decided to move closer to villagers' garden so she can steal cooked food for Hli. They lived near the village garden and waited for people to leave their huts to harvest the rice fields. The witch would sneak into the huts and steal cooked food for Hli. This made Hli healthier, and she felt much better. As time went by, Hli and the witch grew very close. The witch took good care of Hli like a real mother. She protected her, cleaned her hair, cut her long fingernails, and made sure Hli was safe. When Hli turned 17, she became curious about the village celebrations, especially the New Year festival. Every year, the villagers celebrated with singing, games, and lots of delicious food. Hli wanted to join the celebration, but the witch had always said no. This year, Hli asked the witch again if she could go to the New Year festival. The witch loved Hli so much that she wanted to make her happy. So she agreed and promised to find Hli something special to wear. One night, the witch sneaked into a village house and stole a beautiful traditional dress. When the New Year festival came, the witch combed Hli's hair, gave her a bath, and dressed her in the beautiful clothes. Hli looked so pretty and felt so happy. Before Hli left for the festival, the witch looked into her eyes, tears rolling down her cheeks. She told Hli that she loved her more than anything, and that she must come back before sunset. The witch warned Hli not to go with anyone and to stay where the witch could see her from the jungle. At the festival, Hli saw many girls and boys tossing balls and laughing with joy. She wanted to join them, but she had no partner. A handsome young man named Lu noticed Hli walking alone. Lu was tall, slim, and very good-looking. When he saw Hli, he fell in love at first sight. He went to talk to her, and when Hli looked at Lu, she fell in love too. Lu asked Hli to toss balls with him. Hli had never played before, so Lu taught her. They laughed and had so much fun together. Lu asked Hli where she was from, and Hli told him that she didn't live in a village. She lived with her mother deep in the jungle because her mother didn't like living in the village. Lu didn't ask any more questions. They spent a lot of time tossing the ball, talking and laughing. After a while, Lu asked Hli if she wanted to eat something with him. They went to a food booth and Lu bought her meatballs, noodles, chicken and fish. Everything tasted so good that Hli almost forgot about going home. But as the sun started to set, Hli remembered her promise to the witch. She quickly told Lu she had to go and rushed out of the festival, back to the jungle. When Hli returned, the witch was both mad and crying. She thought she had lost her daughter. The next day, Hlee asked the witch if she could go to the festival again, but the witch said no. She feared losing Hlee for real this time, so she hid Hlee's traditional clothes. Lou returned to the festival every day, hoping to see Hlee again, but she never came. Each day, Hlee cried and begged the witch to let her go just one more time. Finally, on the last day of the New Year festival, the witch felt sad seeing Hlee's tears. She decided to let Hlee go one more time. The witch combed Hlee's hair, gave her a bath, and dressed her up again. Before Hlee left, the witch hugged her and said, "Hlee, if you go, please come back. You are all I have. If you don't return, I will die of missing you. I love you more than anything, my child." At the festival, Lou was sad and had lost hope of seeing Hlee again. But as he walked with his friends, he suddenly saw Hlee in her pretty dress with a bright smile. Lou's heart raced with happiness. He ran to Hlee, calling her name. Hlee was so happy to see Lou again. They talked, laughed, and had the best time together. Later, Lou didn't want to let Hlee out of his sight, fearing he might never see her again. So he told Hlee he wanted to take her to eat somewhere special, but instead he took her to his house. When they arrived, Lou's parents saw them together. They were surprised and knew that when a son brought a girl home, it meant he wanted to marry her. Lou told Hlee he wanted to marry her and wouldn't let her go home. Hlee was scared and started to cry. She said she didn't want to get married yet because she didn't want to leave her mother alone. Lou's parents liked Hlee and tried to calm her down, promising to support her mother. But Hlee knew the witch wouldn't want any villagers near her. Lou's parents started asking Hlee about her mother, but Hlee didn't know much. They asked where she lived, but Hlee could only say, "in the jungle." They asked her age, but she didn't seem to know anything about herself. The parents found Hlee's answers strange and thought something must have happened to her. They called the villagers to see if anyone knew Hlee. One by one, the villagers came, but no one recognized her. As the evening approached, rumors spread through the village about the mysterious girl. Finally, one woman heard the rumors and remembered a child named Hlee who had gone missing years ago. She came to see Hlee and recognized a black mole on Hlee's foot. The woman wasn't sure if it was really Hlee, so she asked the villagers to hold Hlee and not let her leave. The woman sent messengers to find Hlee's parents, who lived in another village. The messengers traveled through the night and arrived at Hlee's parents' house in the morning. They told the parents everything about Hlee, including the mole on her foot. Hlee's mother started crying, remembering her lost child, whom she had searched for years, believing she might be gone forever. Hlee's parents quickly packed up and rushed to Lou's village with the messengers. When they arrived, she had grown and changed, but they recognized her face and the mole on her foot. They hugged Hlee tightly and cried with joy, but Hlee looked confused. She didn't know them and kept saying her mother was in the jungle. The villagers realized that Hlee's mind had been controlled by an evil spirit. They knew the only way to free her was to shower her with cow's stool. They set Hlee on a chair and covered her with cow's stool, letting it stay on her skin until she began to remember everything. Each day, Hlee started to remember a little more. On the fourth day, she finally broke free from the witch's spell and remembered her parents. She hugged them and cried, calling them Mom and Dad. The family was reunited and the villagers cried with them. Once Hlee's mind was clear, she told her parents everything that had happened, the witch who kidnapped her and how she lived with her for years. Hlee's parents were so happy to have their daughter back that they agreed to let her marry Lou, who had saved her. Hlee and Lou got married, had children, and lived happily ever after. As for the witch, she waited for Hlee to return, but Hlee never came back. Day after day, the witch waited, but Hlee was gone. Heartbroken and unable to live without Hlee, the witch ended her own life by hitting her head on a rock until she died. Thank you for listening to Nighttime Scary Stories. If you like to hear more of my stories, please press the subscribe and like buttons to support me to keep making more videos for you guys. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Thank you.